worship thee, Lamb of God who died for me, who withstands in endless mercy. Daily I will worship thee. Daily I will worship thee, Lamb of God who died for me, who withstands in endless mercy. Daily I will worship thee. Daily I will worship thee, Lamb of God who died for me, who withstands in endless mercy. Daily I will worship thee. Daily I will worship thee, Lamb of God who died for me, who withstands in endless mercy. Daily I will worship thee. Daily I will worship thee, Lamb of God who died for me, who withstands in endless mercy. Daily I will, daily I will, daily I will worship thee.
To Dr. Curtis and all the official staff, Sister Blow, President Blow, it's indeed my honor and privilege to introduce our speaker for this hour. Ms. Shultz-Wilson has been actively involved as the president and CEO of the Urban League of Southern Connecticut. This great organization, which has been established since 1910, it has goals of importance to improve the quality of life for Black people. She, along with her staff, are working to provide others with the tools necessary for economic self-reliance, civil rights, and justice. Shall I say church? Church, let us give Ms. Valeria Shultz-Wilson a hearty Baptist welcome as she prepares to come to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. First, I would just like to give an honor to God. I tell you, because without his mercy, I would not be standing before you today. But I would also just like to thank Dr. Curtis and his lovely wife, Janice. They have been just arch supporters of the Urban League of Southern Connecticut, and I thank you so much for all that you do and for carrying the torch. And to the sister over there, you got it going on. Got it going on. Got it going on. And I love the theme for this year. And I tell you, this is about a paradigm shift. And if you've not been reading, watching television, listening to the news, you should probably get busy. Amen. So I'm here today to tell you, to borrow a phrase from the Urban League CEO, Mark Morial, stay woke. All right. Stay woke. This is going to be a long 4 years. So I just want to take a few minutes. I'm not going to take much of your time because I know you've got miles to go before you sleep tonight. But I will tell you that I am the granddaughter of a Baptist pastor. And I am the baby sister of a Baptist preacher. But I do know when to sit down. So I'm not going to keep you long. But so I'm just, as I was trying to come up with some words of encouragement for you today, many of you know the Urban League. We were founded in 1910. There are 88 affiliates around the country. And for us, it's about economic justice. And that's what's important to me, and that's why I'm standing here today. I think it is, for far too long, we have allowed our politicians and we've allowed the powers that be to keep us at bay and not ensure that our needs in the African American community are taken seriously. So as I was trying to come up with some words to leave with you today, I ran across this, and just bear with me for a minute, and I'm going to read it, so you have to just follow with me. But just listen to this, and then we're going to talk about it on the other side. Black America is in a state of crisis by any of the accepted indicators of progress, whether it be employment, housing, education, small business ownership. Many of the gains blacks have made over the past decades have withered, and they've been wiped out or badly eroded. And the portents of the future is not encouraging. And then it goes on to say, on a limited and individual basis, there were exceptions to the downward trend, but the growing number of blacks without jobs, the increasing gap between black and white income, the increasing gap between black and whites who have been educated, new public displays of racism in a bold way, not to mention the fact, as the brother just said, the officers have now taken liberty to shoot our children at will, and they have yet to be held accountable for that. The negative attitudes of policymakers, we know we have no friends at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue today, toward programs that aid the poor, marked by a year as one of increasing hardship for Black America. Without question, much of the responsibility for many of the reverses sustained by blacks lay with the economy. Blacks suffered disproportionately because of their low position on the economic ladder as unemployment climbed to depression levels. We all remember that. Many of their communities have been fraught with foreclosure, and inflation cut into their already limited purchasing power. But this is only one part of the story of what happened to Black America. The other has to do with the rapidly drying up of the nation's willingness to face up to the seriousness of problems that years of racism have created, and to deal with those problems with the intensity and the commitment their solutions demand. The implications of this should not be lost on the American people, for the future of the nation is bound up in how it deals with these problems. To be remembered is that other societies have disintegrated when they ignore signs of spreading poverty, disenchantment among their people. It can happen in America, but it does not have to. The hour is late, but there is yet time to set the American house in order. These words were written by the National Urban League president, Vernon Jordan, in the state of Black America in 1976, 41 years later. And I stand before you today to tell you that you probably thought we wrote this last week. Last week, we released the state of Black America, and I'm here to tell you that it's bleak, that 41 years later, it's bleak. 41 years later, we recognize that economic justice has definitely not come our way. So I just want to continue to say that we at the Urban League, we believe that we have a responsibility to our people. We want to ensure that our civil rights are protected. We want to ensure that economic justice exists. We strive each and every day to make a difference in the lives of our children, to make a difference in the lives of African American seniors, to make a difference in the lives of folks that are trying to start small businesses. We know that without economic power, we have no voice. But it's important that we have to continue to build on the legacy of Barack Obama. We can't sit by, we can't stand down, we can't bury our head in the sand, we can't wallow in pity. We have to stand up and we have to fight. We have to fight because we are under attack, and make no mistake about it. We are not just under attack from the Attorney General's office, we're under attack from the EPA that continues to turn the other way when our water is contaminated in cities like Flint, Michigan, when they continue to have brownfields in urban areas and they turn their heads when our children are suffering with asthma. We are under attack by the Department of Education and Miss Betsy, who could care less about our children, who has made it her life's mission to ensure that folks profit off of education. We know that the prison industrial complex is alive and well, and it is starting to grow. Did you not realize that on November 9th, that the prison industrial complex stocks rose? Because they know that we are about to be under siege yet again, that they're going to build more prisons to house our young black men. We know the statistics and the data. They tell us if our kids are not reading on grade level by third grade, they prepare a prison bed for our children. So we know we're under attack. We know that we're under attack by Health and Human Services because of the Affordable Care Act that they're so quickly and eager to roll back. We are under attack when we have folks that seek to profit off of the backs of poor and minority people. So we have to stand up and be counted. We have to go forward and we have to make noise. This is not a time for us to be silent. We have to literally put on the full armor of God. And we have to go to battle. We have to protect the progress that we've made. And we cannot allow anyone to turn us back. We just can't. We can't do it. We have to hold our politicians accountable, those that we like and those that we don't. And we have to tell them to stop showing up every 4 years when it's time for you to run for election. We want to know what you're doing for us in the off years, right? I mean, we have to tell them. We have to make sure that we have candidates up and down the ballot that are going to push for our interest. We have, this brother right here needs to run for governor, right? So, but we have to put our money where our mouth is. And we cannot stand idly by and allow this administration to destroy everything that President Obama has made. We know that we've got a long road ahead. When I think about our babies that are being killed on the streets, I'm a mother of 2 black boys, and I never thought in a million years that I would live in the state of Connecticut and I'd get a call from my son that's driving on 84 in my car that's been pulled over by a police officer trying to figure out why he's driving the car he's driving. Now, this is a Morehouse grad, and he has to kowtow to the police and come up with some excuse as to why he's driving a car. This is not acceptable, and we can't sit by and allow this to happen. We cannot continue to allow the zip code to determine whether or not our children are getting a proper education. We can't do it. It's unconscionable. When we go to, we have an office in Bridgeport. We have one in Stamford, Bridgeport, New Haven, and I love the work that we do, and I tell you, I go to sleep every day thanking God for the opportunity and the privilege to serve. But we have schools in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where 98% of our kids are on free and reduced lunch. We do work with women every single day, welfare to work. They're trying to get on their feet. Many of them have worked 2 and 3 jobs. It costs you $28.79 an hour just to be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in Norwalk. This is sinful. And Connecticut is one of the richest states in the country, but yet the achievement gap continues to grow. But yet we continue to allow our politicians to get by with a pat on the shoulder, black and white, without taking our issues at heart. And we can't do it anymore. And I am going to call on Pastor Curtis and the Black Church to stand with the Urban League. It's time for us to take to the streets. It's time for us to take to the streets. And we don't need to always jump and yell and scream whenever something happens we don't like. We need to take to the streets to say, you know what? Our kids deserve a better education. Our children deserve better. Women in this state deserve better. We have women that are working 2 and 3 and 4 jobs, trying to keep food on the table for our children. They can't afford quality child care in this state. They can't afford quality housing in this state. Our men are being incarcerated at just record rates for such a tiny state, and we allow it to stand. And so I'm going to leave you today, and I'm just going to say, as you know, my mother said to me, she said, you know, babe, I love the work that you do, and clearly it's about your life's mission. She said, but you're really going to have to stay on your knees. And so I'm just going to say, stay on your knees. Thank you.
Come on, we can do better than that. Come on, we can.